cute anime girls. Dump them in horror-like situation and traumatize them for life. What could possibly go wrong?
Jokes aside, why is there a market for this? And why am I ironically a consumer for this?
There's something that vibes well with something that really shouldn't. A cute girl who wants to live a normal life or purely innocent immediately sends to the world where everyone wants to kill you. And you need to learn how to survive ASAP. And we just consume it like pigs.
So, grab your safe blanket, turn off the light, and oh, don't worry about the noises. Cause tonight, let's talk about 3 terrifying video games that you play as cute anime girls.
So, let's start out with the latest one I played. And it's the most recent one of the 3. NanoApostle is about a girl who is being captured in a digital world, fighting bosses and getting out to earn your freedom. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, yes, there's more to talk about, but essentially, this is a boss rush indie game. And honestly, I thought I would never see this again. Last time I played that kind of genre is Titanfall. Same premise, except in NanoApostle, you need to hit the enemy multiple times to win the game.
And well, this game is short. Like, I beat the game in 5-6 hours and I have completed everything except one thing. But we're gonna be talking about that later.
Point here is you can still beat the game in one sitting if you feel like it. But for what you get, it's still pretty packed. For example, each bosses you have objectives. Don't get hit twice, parry, attack set amount of times, you get the point. With those points, you can unlock abilities you can use. Stronger attacks, faster sticky bombs aka infections, or even once you have 3 infections on the boss, you can blast them all at once, instantly. Do note that some of the abilities have debuffs as well, for example longer attack range but slower attack speed. And these abilities are pretty, but I do wish we had more varieties per se, like dodge bonus or attack speed bonus, but for what we got, I really have no complaints. You can also do obstacles and or crash courses to get more points. Faster time, more points. I like how they spread out the abilities and game mechanics so that you can slowly learn how to execute in situations. It can be annoying when you are starting a new game and wanting to use abilities you currently don't have, but that's more of a new game plus thing, and well, there's little to no point doing so.
Honestly, the only reason I can think of why you want to start a new game is either you're speedrunning the game or you're trying to show the newcomer how the game is without spoiling the story too much, and maybe some achievements here and there. But other than that, there's little to no reason why you want to try a new game file for this game.
Speaking of the story, there's nothing big for a short game. In fact, some of the interactions feels a bit forced just to save cutscene time. But honestly, I like it. It presents the world building pretty well, albeit in a certain war zone at least. And the ending did make me feel emotional, so for how little we get, it does its job well.
Like I said, you're stuck in a simulation and you're trying to break out of it to get your freedom. But this game can get fearsome and, well, growly as well. Especially the final execution when you're doing for each boss. Which leads me to my final point for this game. The gameplay.
The gameplay is really good. The controls feels amazing, the bosses feels varied and cool, and learning how to dodge, attack, parry, infect, hook, everything feels amazing. Except one thing, the final boss. more accurately, the final boss if you want 100% the game.
I can't really show you this because spoilers, but basically the final boss has this mechanic where it has the AoE blood damage. And basically you need to dodge out of it so that you don't get hit from it. Credit where credit is due, the AoE blood actually has some time before it gets executed, so you have some time to react. The thing is, if there's an AoE blood, and if you're in the middle of the AoE blood, you're most likely gonna get hurt. Because the invisibility and the range of the dodge is so low, like let's say this much, that the AoE box is longer than the iframe, so around this much. So you're gonna get hurt no matter how well you execute it, at least in my experience. Is this skill issue? Is this actually 100% a valid critic? I don't know, but I will tell you this, I have been struggling to get that final objective to get the whole achievement for this game for 6 hours as of recording this, and it is so frustrating that I keep on losing because of that AoE blood. There's also the whole homing thing where it homes to you and then it spreads apart and tries to hit you with double missiles and everything like that. I could parry that, I could dodge it, that's more of a skill issue, but AoE blood is a pain, okay?
Also, I would wait for a Steam sale when buying this game because 20 USD is bit too much. Then even 15 USD sounds reasonable, but 20 is pushing it. Despite the frustration, I genuinely enjoyed this game. I think if you play Black Myth Wukong, Dark Souls or even Titanfall, try this game. It's short, but a neat game.
Alright, while it was scary, it wasn't horror per se. So let's go more dark, more scary, more horror, more ghostly.
LILIES is a metroidvania game. So you already know this game is gonna be dark.
Sad part is, I can only think of a handful of games that's not dark and creepy metroidvania game. On top of my head, less than 5.
Point here is, this game is dark, and it fits the horror element surprisingly well. The story goes like this. There once was a kingdom until corrupted beings made the whole place into ruins. You, a young girl, are the sole survival of this place, and you need to get out of here while using your innate ability, purify to corrupt it. Unfortunately, you're not much of a fighter. Thankfully, you have ghost companions who failed to protect you during their mortal times, but they still haven't lost their will to protect, no matter what.
Yeah, you know those times when people see cute things and be like, oh, we must protect them. Yeah, they took that spiritually.
And this is such a cool concept, having ghosts willing to protect and attack for you while you run around, find clues, dodge, and understand what exactly happened here. The presentation is also pretty swell. I'll admit it could be better, but it's pretty good for what we got. I say good because while the game is amazing by itself, I feel like it's missing something. Like 5% of how the music, the world, transition, something is missing to make the world more polished. I just can't put my finger exactly what, to be honest. The gameplay itself is pretty hard. Nothing that could make you go edge of the seat or anything, but enough that you need to understand your enemies to win. I do think airborne monsters are pain to fight because of lack of directional swing you can do, but that might be more of a me thing here. I also like, as far as I have gone with the game, you can have 5 spirits in your hotbar ready to fight. Do know that some might vanish if you swap Spirit Hotbar 1 to 2 or vice versa, but for what we have, it's pretty versatile. Swing plus poison while you're in a distance is my go-to when I need to dodge or crowd control, or Crow Companion when there's too many mobs to take care of. Do note that other than your main one, the Soul Slash, your spirits has limited use per rest. However, you can get some back by destroying crates, flowers and such. And truth be told, I never had a problem running out before reaching the next rest point, so take what you will. I will say I did get lost with the game quite often. The map system, while decent, can be annoying when you realize the path they are showing is blocked off by other means. This wouldn't be a problem because other Metroidvania games does this as well. It's just when I traverse through the area, which sometimes takes 5 to 10 minutes to explore, only to realize I need to come back here later, that stings and can get into a nerve. A little. Still, this is a fun game. Dark, gloomy, and horrorous. If you like Metroidvania, give this game a try. The complaints I give is more nitpicking than anything, and the spirit abilities usage, while nothing new, it's a very cool concept that was enjoyable to explore.
Alright, one more game. And while 2 might be a debate whether it's horror or not, this one definitely is a horror. Psychological horror. And let me tell you, for a roguelite game, this is probably the best story I have ever experienced.
I say for a roguelite, but even then, this is one of the best story I have ever experienced. Period. The way the mystery unfolds, the way you need to piece together, and when you finally see the credit, you just stare at the screen, questioning your life.
There's a saying how indie games will change how you perceive life, how you think about life and experience life after playing those games. And while that is true with Omori, Celeste, Undertale, Inscription and other indie games, Chrono Ark probably has impacted my life the most out of any of those games, how I perceive life. And the worst part is, I can't tell you why.
No, seriously, I cannot tell you why I love Chrono Ark so much, because anything I reveal would be considered spoilers to the story. All I can tell you is it takes time to mold, so be patient, find the logs, find the truth, and be ready to experience something grand. Presentation-wise, this game looks pretty good. Though, genuine question, does anyone else find this like Danganronpa vibe? Like the way the new maps unfold, the way the visual novels are portrayed, the sound effects used, and honestly, the vibe of the environment and each character's personality itself, it makes me feel like it was heavily inspired from Danganronpa. Nothing wrong with it, of course, but I've never seen anyone talk much about it on Reddit, forums, anywhere. So I'm wondering if it's just me or not. The music is mixed. I do like them all, don't get me wrong, but there are some that just are fine. And then there's just some that are fire, specifically the endgame musics. But it is a hit or miss type of situation. Overall, I like it, but it is something to consider. And finally, the gameplay. The gameplay allows you to pick characters, each having their own special cards and or abilities. The characters are divided in classes: attackers, tank, and support. Though sometimes their roles are heavily mixed, so experimenting is advised what you want to try. This game revolves in 3 modes: visual novels, aka understanding the story and characters more and more, battle system, which is card building and fighting, and exploration, finding events, mini bosses, leveling up, healing, etc. etc. The battle system is your typical roguelite card building we have seen in other games. You have cards you draw from your deck, you can only use limited power per turn. Each card costs a certain amount of power, so you need to learn how to do combos with each other if ever. So essentially, you need to learn how to abuse the system so that you can do massive damage in one turn. Artifacts for getting better set conditions and leveling up helps to make the characters stronger and able to get you more power crystals. You get the idea. I do like the system, and I do like how many characters, aka investigators, there are in the game. But yeah, some characters are definitely better than others. For example, I really like Prestel's ability to foresight cards, aka able to see what cards I can draw out of the 3 choices, giving me more power over my deck. And while her healing ability is actually solid, I do know that people prefer Karen over her because of essentially killing 3 enemies, aka souls, to make potion abilities. But Karen can only have maximum of 3 potions at once, and her gameplay style really doesn't fit mine. Whereas Sis, as much as I like her puppet healing and attacking ability, it's very limited and sometimes detrimental to the fight. The exploration is pretty nice as well. There's not much to talk about, as honestly it does its job. Explore, give us random events, treasure chests, stop, explore, repeat. It doesn't do anything new, but they're not fixing what's not broken to begin with, so it's good, no complaint. And finally, the fights can get really challenging, and honestly, sometimes they really give me a run for my money. Thinking what I need to do to block or to attack, who should I target first, is pretty fun, and strategize what my next move should be. I will say that picking your remaining 2 characters can change the outcome, as you start with only 2 characters and you get 2 more via limited selected recruit paper, aka randomize 5 characters from the list you have. I really wish you could just pick characters you want in your team, but that's just me. Overall, I think this game is really, really amazing. The story, while I have to be vague, is honestly the best thing about this game. The gameplay is pretty solid, and I had fun trying new things and exploring my options. And the presentation, while some hits or misses, overall is amazing and well executed. I highly recommend this game.
Like, I highly recommend that you like and subscribe to this channel. Call to action aside, I really hope that you try at least one, if not all, the games I mentioned in this video, because they are incredible, they are fantastic in its own right, and I think people should know more about it, at least in my opinion. And while it's not exactly per theme per se, I really hope that this Halloween month these 3 games justified for, well, this month. It's funny, because when I was looking at my Steam, when I was looking at stores and any video game list, there was a lot of horror anime girl games. And to that, I will say, why are you traumatizing them? What is wrong with you?